Hello everyone and welcome back for another interesting and informative session of SSB Crack exams. I'm Hemant and now we are going to discuss about the consolidated defense updates covered fully of the month of October 2020. These updates will be extremely important and will be useful for various defense examinations. And coming towards the defense exams, if in case you people are preparing for various defense examinations, then SSB Crack exams is one-stop solution for you. We are India's largest, most preferred online defense examinations preparation portal. If in case you are preparing for examinations like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET, Territorial Army, and Indian Air Force, Airman Group X and Group Y, you can follow us on all sort of social media platforms. You can also please download our Android app from Google Play Store so that you will be always stay updated and be informative of the most important informative content that will be helpful in you in cracking the examination. So before beginning with the most important defense updates, let us have the most important headlines of the complete important monthly current affairs. Here I have divided the complete monthly current affairs into 7 important sections and let us go through each and every session. Coming towards section A will be talked about the military exercises, and under that particular section we will be discussing about Indian Navy, Sri Lanka Navy bilateral maritime exercise Slynex 20 that has been conducted at Trincomalee in Sri Lanka. Then we will be discussing about exercise Bongo Sagar and coordinated patrol Corpat bilateral exercise between Indian Navy and Bangladesh Navy. Also, we will be discussing about the Myanmar Army launching an Operation Sunrise 3 to crack down insurgent groups at Indo-Myanmar border. Then we will be going through the next section. Section B will be dealing with the international military deals, wherein which in the first and foremost we will be discussing about the basic exchange and cooperation agreement of the Geospatial Act and the deal that will make the Indian missiles deadlier that has finally been signed. Then coming towards India, UAE have agreeing to further defense cooperation through joint production and mutual trade. India, Morocco have planned to sign defense memorandum of understanding riding on emerging strategic partnership. Then we will be discussing about the Cochin shipyard and Italy's Fincantieri signing a deal for the business development. Also, we will be discussing about Trump administration and Russia near the deal to freeze nuclear warheads, and they will be extending the new START Pact. In the section C about the Indian military reviews, we will be discussing about Army Commanders Conference 2020, Army officials celebrating the Vigilance Awareness Week. Then comes Indian Army launching the software for infrastructure management, and then also the secure application for internet. We will be also discussing who has been awarded the Chief of Army Staff Annual Flight Safety Trophy that has been awarded to an Army aviation unit which has been deployed in the Jammu and Kashmir. Then we will be also discussing about the Chief of Naval Staff reviews the operational readiness at sea, and the Indian Navy operationalizing the first batch of women pilots. Indo-Tibetan Border Police deputing its first officer to head Eastern Command along the line of actual control. Under section D, which is completely related towards the special inductions and acquisitions, we will be discussing about INS Kavaratti being commissioned into Indian Navy, and then India gifting a submarine to Myanmar. Under section E, which is of the anniversaries, I will be discussing about the 88th Indian Air Force Day conducted on 8th of October 2020, 71st Raising Day of Territorial Army 9th of October 2020. Then on 24th of October, we have celebrated the 59th Raising Day of Indo-Tibetan Border Police. And on 27th of October, we have celebrated the 74th Indian Army Infantry Day. Under section F, which is in detail about the strategic missile tests, we will be discussing about Shaurya, which is a land-based version of submarine-launched ballistic missile, which has been launched on 3rd of October. Then comes the supersonic missile assisted release of Torpedo Smart System, India's indigenous anti-radiation missile Rudram, India's developed nuclear-capable Prithvi 2 missile launched on 16th of October, naval version of BrahMos, which has been tested and it has been fired from Navy's indigenously built stealth destroyer INS Chennai, the standoff anti-tank missile or the Sant missile. Also in the end, we will be discussing about the final trial of the DRDO developed Nag anti-tank guided missile onto a warhead. Under section G, which is the final section, we'll be discussing about the future plans of the Indian Navy to get 5th Scorpion class submarine from Mazagon Dock Limited in the next 6 months. And also we will be discussing about the 3 new Rafale fighters that are going to come to India in November of 5th. And then Supreme Court extending the time for the Indian Navy and the Ministry of Defense, wherein which the short service commissioned women officers of Indian Navy be granted the permanent commission. This session will begin with the most important updates, and before beginning, I would like to discuss with you about the question of the day. And on the question of the day of 31st of October 2020, I have asked you this particular question: which Indian naval officer became the first Indian to complete a solo, unassisted, non-stop circumnavigation of the world in 2013? I repeat the question: which Indian naval officer became the first Indian to complete a solo, unassisted, non-stop circumnavigation of the world in 2013? And yes, everybody has given a correct answer for this, and the correct answer is Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tomi. Okay, Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tomi was the first Indian and also the second Asian to be achieving this particular feat. Why is this considered to be a very, very important? This is considered as a non-stop circumnavigation of the world. Okay, so you are completely going all the way through the world on sea without even stopping anywhere, and this is considered to be a very, very strong and a very important feat to consider. And going through this particular way, any particular person who, if he has to go through the circumnavigation, then he has to cross three important capes, and they are known as Cape Lewin, Cape Horn and Cape of Good Hope. All of these capes have to be crossed in the circumnavigation of the globe, and to cross all of these, to undertake all of these, it requires courage, determination and highest grit and highest order. So Abhilash Tomi was extremely exceptional, and he was able to perform this particular feat, and for this important achievement that he has done, and for the reason that he made this particular achievement and bringing a good name towards the Indian Navy, he was also awarded the Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award. This is a very, very important one. So far, only less than 50 people in the world were successful in completing this particular voyage. But now, Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tomi is the first Indian to be completing this particular one, and is also the second Asian to do so. He's only Indian in the International Association of Cape Horners, and he also got the MacGregor Medal for military reconnaissance. He's also the author of the book 151 Solitary Days at Sea, Sailing Non-Stop Around the World, and also he has written another book which named Kadal Otakku Kshanichapol. Okay, going through the most and important ones, that is it regarding the most important question of the day. Now let us begin with the first and foremost section of the important defense updates. Going through the first section, and the section A is about the military exercises, and the first and foremost update for us to consider in this particular section is regarding the Slynex 2020, which has been conducted at Trincomalee. This is an important Indian Navy and Sri Lankan Navy bilateral maritime exercise. When was it conducted? It was conducted from 19th to 21st of October 2020. So this is considered to be a very, very important update, and the most important Sri Lankan ships that have participated in the Slynex 2020, they were SLN Sayura and SLN Gajabahu. SLN Sayura is an offshore patrol vessel, and SLN Gajabahu is a training ship. And under the Sri Lankan Navy side, Rear Admiral Bandara Jayatilaka was the flag officer commanding of the naval fleet. And coming towards the Indian side, what were the Indian naval ships that have participated in Slynex 20? They were INS Kamorta and INS Kiltan. Okay, INS Kamorta and INS Kiltan, both of them are anti-submarine warfare corvettes. So in the Slynex 20, under the Indian naval side, Rear Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan, the flag officer commanding of the Eastern Fleet, he has commanded the Indian Navy. Okay, so the Indian naval leader during the Slynex 20 was Rear Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan, and the Sri Lankan Navy leader was Rear Admiral Bandara Jayatilaka. The ships that have participated in this particular exercise, they include SLN Sayura, SLN Gajabahu, INS Kamorta and INS Kiltan. Along with these important warships, the important helicopters, the advanced light helicopters, Chetak helicopters were also onboarded, embarked onto the Indian naval ships, and Dornier patrol aircraft was also participated in this particular exercise. Going through, the next important one is regarding the exercise Bongo Sagar and Corpat. Corpat meaning the coordinated patrol. Please, you have to remember, because every time the Corpat is already known by that particular name. So Corpat is what? It is the coordinated patrol. So exercise Bongo Sagar is a very, very important exercise. The simple meaning is between that. It has been conducted between both Indian Navy and Bangladeshi Navy. When was it conducted? It started on 3rd of October 2020 in Northern Bay of Bengal. Okay, so until when did it conducted? It was concluded all the way up to from 3rd to 5th of October 2020. It was a 3-day important exercise, and this first edition was held last year in the year of 2019, and even now also it is actually aimed to develop interoperability between both the forces and to improve the operational skills, improve the communication and the various navigational skills, the equipment and the technical skills between both the countries, so that both the countries go hand in hand, and both of them will also perform various exercises and wherein which they will be performing wide spectrum of different kind of operations. The coordinated patrol was actually started with the last 2 days. It was on 4th to 5th of October 2020. That is it regarding this important one. Also, I would like to include and I would like to tell you that the two important ships that have participated in this particular exercise Bongo Sagar was INS Kiltan and INS Kukri. For your additional information, yes, it was INS Kiltan also. INS Kiltan participated in Slanix 2020 and also in the exercise Bongo Sagar. Okay, so coming towards INS Kiltan, it is a what? It is a anti-submarine warfare corvette, and INS Kukri is an indigenously built guided missile corvette. Okay, INS Kukri is guided missile corvette, whereas INS Kiltan is anti-submarine warfare corvette. So INS Kiltan and INS Kukri were those that have participated in the Bongo Sagar exercise. To get in detail regarding the Bangladeshi ships, what were they? They were guided missile frigate BNS Abu Bakr and guided missile corvette BNS Protoy. Okay, BNS Abu Bakr and BNS Protoy were two important ships. Okay, so what are those you have to remember under the Sri Lankan Naval Slanix 2020 exercise? What are those things that you have to remember? The ships that were from the Sri Lankan Navy were SLN Sayura, SLN Gajabahu, and the ships from the Indian side during the Slanix 2020 was INS Kamorta and INS Kiltan. Coming towards the Bangladeshi Navy, the Bangladesh Bongo Sagar exercise, it was INS Kiltan and INS Kukri, and it was BNS Abu Bakr and BNS Protoy. And even in this particular exercise, both the naval aircraft have also participated in this particular exercise, and they made it very, very fruitful. Going through the next important update is regarding a very recent one. This is regarding the Myanmar Army launching an operation known as Operation Sunrise 3. Sunrise 3 literally mentions the third operation. This is being launched for the third time. For the first time, it was launched by both Indian Navy and Myanmar Navy, and the main exercise, the main aim of this particular Operation Sunrise is because to track down the insurgent groups that are there at the Indo-Myanmar border, because there are a lot of important militant groups and the terrorist groups that are hiding out in the Indo-Myanmar border. Their main aim is to completely distort the peace and the security of the northeastern states of India. Also, if you have to go through in detail, that the National Socialist Council of Nagaland Khaplang NSCNK, which is a very important militant organization, which is recognized as militant organization by India, and that is the reason why Indian Army and Indian Armed Forces are trying to crack them down along with the Myanmar border. The Myanmar, inside the Myanmar, all of these insurgent groups are hiding out. So NSCNK is actually led by Young Aung, and it is consolidating its position inside Myanmar, and various other NSCN groups have also planning to attack Indian security forces at vulnerable points. Vulnerable meaning wherein which those points that are not highly secured. So all of those weak points they want to completely capture. So all of these have to be conducted, and we wish that Myanmar Army's operation, it is still going on, and we wish that it is going on well and good. So Indian Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla and Indian Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Narawane, both of them are going to visit the important relationships and also to improve the bilateral ties between India and Myanmar. They are going to visit Myanmar, but they paused that particular important one. They have said that they will be visiting Myanmar in the month of October itself, but now it is November also. But still, we are finding out about the main reasons. The COVID-19 is said to be one of the most important ones. If you have to go through the past details, then the first kind of Operation Sunrise, it was between February 17 to March 2. And it was a 3-week long coordinated patrol operation. And Operation Sunrise 2 was from May of 16 in its own territory along Indo-Myanmar border. It is said to have destroyed many camps of insurgent groups. However, Myanmar Army is also reported to have suffered a loss in the second phase of Operation Sunrise 2. That is it regarding the most important updates of this particular section. The first section, that is regarding what? It is regarding the most important military exercises. Let us go through the next important section, and that is about the section B, which is the international military deals. Until now we were discussing about military exercises. Now we will be discussing about the various deals, international deals that have been signed between India and the other countries, and we will also discuss about the other national foreign countries, the deals and the important agreements and webinars or seminars that are being done. Let us begin with the first and foremost important one. And in the last month, we have observed that the BECA agreement has finally been signed. This is the fourth agreement to completely secure the strategic defense relationship with the United States of America. This is a deal that will make Indian missiles deadlier, as they have finally been signed. This is a full form. If you have to go through the full form of the BECA, it means the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement for Geospatial Cooperation. Okay, so this clearly mentions that it is a cooperation of both the countries agreeing to sign to provide geospatial data. The meaning of the geospatial data is to provide strategic maps and reconnaissance related issues so that both the countries get benefited due to this particular important deal. Previously, we have already signed 4 important deals and they were known as the GSOMIA, LEMUA and COMCASA. If you have to go through their full forms, they include the General Security of Military Information Agreement, which has been signed in the year of 2002, long back. Then comes the Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement in the year of 2016, and in the last 2 years back, we have already signed the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement in the year of 2018. Both LEMUA and COMCASA were signed with the United States of America, and both of them were signed with various defense ministries, while in which when Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman was the defense minister of our country, COMCASA was signed. Later on, when Shri Rajnath Singh came into consideration, when he is considered to be even now presently the defense minister of India, with him we have signed the BECA agreement. And how will this particular agreement help us? It will be helping to draw up target coordinates, understanding. So what will this particular thing happen? If you have proper coordinates on where to attack the enemy territory, or even which if you have the proper coordinates on how to secure your own territory, you can completely secure your border. If in case you have the data of the enemy territory, then it will be very easy for us to crack down and to completely destroy the important enemy areas and the missile sites by launching our own missiles. Okay, so these coordinates will help in making the military grade coordinates, and this will help direct missiles of air launched bombs to a terror location in the neighborhood with high accuracy. This will also help in long range navigation and missile targeting, as said. Now let us go through with the next important update that was happened. This is between both India and United Arab Emirates. Both of them have signed a very important, they are going to sign a very important defense co-production through joint production and mutual trade, understanding. So this is a very important one. This is a session on India UAE defense cooperation. It was conducted on 27th of October 2020, and this was an important webinar between important defense officials of both the countries, and ambassadors have also participated. The theme of the India UAE defense webinar was Indian defense industry global outreach for collaborative partnership webinar and expo, India UAE defense cooperation. Remember the full complete theme, it is Indian defense industry global outreach for collaborative partnership webinar and expo. This clearly indicates about how India is slowly moving forward towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat dreams. It is organized by the Department of Defense Production of the DRDO and also by the Society of Indian Defense Manufacturers, SIDM. If you go through in detail regarding this particular important co-production kind of deal that has been happened between both the countries, this was an important webinar. This was a part of the series of webinars which are being organized with friendly foreign countries in order to boost the defense exports and to achieve defense export target of 5 billion in the next 5 years under the Atmanirbhar Bharat, or in case you can even call it as a self-reliant India scheme that has been launched by the defense minister, by Narendra Modi. Defense minister is taking a lot of steps regarding that and is trying to secure the Indian manufacturers and also the Indian defense industries and startups. That is the reason why the Startup India and IDEX have also came into existence, and there were important launched webinars were launched by the ministry along with various other countries. One after the other countries were coming. So among all of those important deals, the deal with the United Arab Emirates is considered to be a very fruitful one. This webinar was actually attended by more than 180 participants all over the world, and it was more than 100 virtual exhibition stalls were also set up in the expo. That is it regarding this most important update. Let us now go through with the next important one, and that is regarding both India and Morocco planning to sign a defense memorandum of understanding riding on emerging partnership. Morocco is considered to be very important country. If you can go through the world map, in the world map, Morocco is a very strategic location that is being very near with the European countries, and Morocco is an African country. So both Morocco and India have decided to sign a very important memorandum of understanding wherein which both the countries will make strategic deals with each other. This is a very clear indication to China also that even India can make good deals with the other countries, and India is nowhere less than keeping its global outreach. This is actually decided when External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, he had a virtual meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Morocco Kingdom. He is Mr. Nasser Bourita. Both of them have discussed and both of them have had a virtual conversation on 22nd of October 2020. Remember, on 22nd of October 2020, lot of things have happened. So we will discuss each and every particular thing. So both the sides have agreed that bilateral relationships have acquired considerable depth and vitality among the landmark visit of His Majesty Mohammed VI, the King of Morocco, in October of 2015. So in the year of 2015, Mohammed VI, the King of Morocco, has visited India for the third India-Africa Forum Summit. It was at that time that both the countries have agreed to make very strategic relationships, and now they are going to be a very fruitful ones. Going through the next update is regarding the Cochin Shipyard and Italy's Fincantieri, both of them signing a very important deal. Both of them are going to make important maritime related products, and both of them are signing this particular deal. This agreement is regarding developing the businesses between both the important companies. The Cochin Shipyard is considered to be India's largest shipyard, along with its facilities which are backed both east and the west coast of India. And Cochin Shipyard is also considered to be a leader in commercial and defense shipbuilding and repairs. Considering Fincantieri, this is also one of the world's largest shipbuilders, which is now located in Italy. It has been headquartered in Italy. It has been building more than 7,000 vessels, and it has been operating 18 shipyards in around 4 continents. So this is considered to be a very large company. So both Fincantieri and the Cochin Shipyard have signed a very important deal, and this deal is regarding the business development. This is an agreement to cooperate shipbuilding, repairs and training. It was signed on 27th of October 2020. Going through the next update is regarding both Trump administration and Russia nearing to freeze a deal of the nuclear warheads, and they have started a new START pact. The meaning of START is Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. This is regarding both United States of America and USSR. Both of them have signing the deal so that both of them will not deploy any nukes on each other, and both of them will have only a considerable amount of nuclear weapons, and they will, as of now, for the next 1 year, they will stop developing any kind of nuclear warheads. This is what the START pact mentions. If you go through in detail regarding this particular one, that both US and Russia have edged towards an arms control deal on 20th of October 2020. It was on October 2020 their deal has completely getting ended. So both the countries on both the sides, the important delegations, the ambassadors and the high commissioners have met each other. They have had telephonic conversations and virtual meetings, and both of them have agreed with each other. Both Vladimir Putin and President Donald Trump of USA, both of them on each side, they have extended to accord a pact which is known as the New START for the next 1 year. If you have to go through this important update in a very detailed way, this breakthrough has come in a very important one. This came days after the two sides have appeared to have nearly given up on finding a compromise, and as President Trump urges his aides to bring him foreign policy wins in the final stretch of the US presidential campaign. Russia's foreign ministry put forward the proposal Tuesday, and within hours, the State Department expressed gratitude for the offer and requested an immediate meeting of the negotiators. As said by the United States people, that they appreciate the Russian Federation's willingness to make progress on the issue of the nuclear arms control, as said by the State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortagus in her statement. United States is prepared to meet immediately to finalize a verifiable agreement, and they also expect Russia to empower its diplomats to do the same. That is it regarding the most important updates of the second session, and the second session is being completed regarding the military deals of the international deals. Now let us go through and discuss about the third section. The section C is about purely relating to the Indian defense inputs. No other country is going to be considered, only India is going to be considered here. So these are about the Indian military reviews. Beginning with the first and foremost update of the Indian military reviews is about the Army Commanders Conference 2020. This is the highlight, hot, burning topic of the complete month of October 2020. So this was done from 26th to 29th of October 2020. So it was a very important conference wherein which the Chief of Defence Staff, Army Chief and various other important personnel, all the important Army commanders from all sort of organizations, let it be from Army establishments, educational establishments, institutions, even the commands, the commanders, everybody have participated in this particular conference, and this is considered to be a very, very important one. Every year, Army Commanders Conference will be conducted so that they will have a complete future plan and they will make a complete progress. They will have to think about the next year's important motto and they will have to strive to complete and finish the goals that they have established through this particular conference. This is regarding the due allegiance, and decisions are taken through collegiate system comprising army commanders and senior officers. So the next important update in this particular one is regarding the army officials celebrating the Vigilance Awareness Week. This is during the Army Commanders Conference that they have had, and they have said and they have taken a pledge regarding that particular one, and they have also took a pledge that they will not consider corruption, and they are trying and striving hard that India will be free, it will be corruption free from all sort of social disorders, and all the important personnel which include the Chief of Army Staff, the Vice Chief of Army Staff and the various army commanders, they took the integrity pledge to underscore the core values of honesty. The Vigilance Awareness Week is being celebrated from 27th of October to 2nd of November. Why is this particular thing being considered? Every year, Vigilance Awareness Week will be considered, wherein which the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India, who that particular person who is also known, who is responsible for uniting India, wherein which on his birthday we celebrate the Unity Day, the National Unity Day. So on 31st of October, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's birth anniversary is celebrated. On that particular day, whichever week that particular day falls, that whole week is celebrated as Vigilance Awareness Week by the Chief Central Vigilance Commission of our country. So in this particular year, from 27th of October to 2nd of November 2020, Vigilance Awareness Week is celebrated, and the theme for Vigilance Awareness Week 2020 is Vigilant India, Prosperous India. Actually in Hindi it is being said as Satark Bharat, Samriddh Bharat. Here is a very short clip of the complete important integrity pledge taken up by the army commanders.
I believe that corruption has been one of the major obstacles to economic, political and social progress of our country. I believe that all stakeholders such as government, citizens and private sector need to work together to eradicate corruption.
Going through the next update is regarding Indian Army launching an IMS software, IMS meaning the software for infrastructure management system. Okay, so IMS is a very, very important software. This was launched on 28th of October 2020. It was launched by the Chief of Army Staff during the Army Commanders Conference. And the main objectives of this particular software is to automate the works initiation, preparation of list and approval by the MOD. What kind of list? All of those important infrastructure related things. Understanding? So all of this is a very, very important one. If we go through in detail regarding the other objective is to accord administrative approval and monitoring of execution by the CFA, to automate availability of CAO pool accommodation, plan vacation, reallocation and undertake maintenance. Next comes is to automate approval of accommodation, allocation, extension for children, education ground, special children and battle physical casualty. Then comes about managing cantonment roads including emergency closure. Also to make land works and quartering policies available online and to monitor land encroachment, old grand bungalows, VIP references and transfer or exchange of the lands. All of these are considered to be done by the IMS software, also known as the Infrastructure Management System, launched by the Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army on 27th of October 2020 in between the complete Army Commanders Conference. Going through the next update is regarding Army launching the secure application for internet. This is a very simple software, just like the Facebook and just like WhatsApp. It is about that particular one. It's kind of WhatsApp, Telegram kind of messaging app. This is regarding a voice, video, message, text calling services, and this app is considered to be a very secure one. Why is this particular one being done into consideration? This is regarding providing more secure cyber security towards our Indian Army and Indian Naval, Indian Air Force officers. The Army officers have given this particular application known as a secure application for internet. This application, it supports end-to-end secure encryption, and it is also available on only for the army officers. It was actually developed by Colonel Sai Shankar. Remember his name, it is Colonel Sai Shankar who has developed the SAI application, and this application has been vetted by CRT, an empaneled auditor, and Army Cyber Group. Going through the next update is regarding the annual Flight Safety Trophy, the Chief of Army Staff's AFS Trophy. This has been awarded to the 663 Army Aviation Squadron. 663 Army Aviation Squadron is now deployed in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So for the complete year of 2019 to 20, this unit has been awarded the best flight safety unit, and this is a very, very important one. It was awarded to both the commanding officer and the Subedar Major of the unit on the concluding day of the Army Commanders Conference. Now we have heard everything about the Indian Army. Let us now go through and hear about the Indian Navy now. Indian Navy, if we consider, in the month of October, it was the Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Karambir Singh has accompanied along with the Flag Officer Commanding in Chief of the Western Naval Command Vice Admiral Ajit Kumar. He has visited the Karwar Naval Base. He has gone on board the only Indian naval aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya. He went there, he interacted with the personnel there, he emphasized very, very important topics, he interacted with the people. All of this was done on 22nd of October 2020. Thereafter, he was departed by helicopter from the carrier group comprising Vikramaditya. He also went and he discussed with various destroyers, frigates, corvettes, fleet support ships, integrals, wing role fighters and helicopters. If we go through detail regarding the most important things that were done by the Chief of Naval Staff, he also thereafter embarked the fleet support ship Deepak to interact with the ship's crew, followed by embarkation on aircraft carrier Vikramaditya, where he witnessed the carrier battle group's capabilities. Addressing the combatants of the carrier battle group over broadcast from Vikramaditya, he complimented them for continuously maintaining peak combat readiness and high tempo of operations over the past months in spite of the COVID-19 related challenges. Indian Navy has remained mission deployed and combat ready across the Indian Ocean region, even through rough seas during the monsoon period, towards maintaining the maritime security of the nation. He also highlighted the nation's appreciation for the Navy's contribution in Operation Samudra Setu, also in the providing the security to the neighbors in the Indian Ocean region as a part of Mission Sagar. Giving an overview of the prevailing security situation, he also stated that the Navy would continue maintaining a high tempo of operations in the coming months. He highlighted the tri-service synergy and coordination has peaked with establishment of Department of Military Affairs, and he also advised to continue the compliance of protocols by the naval personnel and their families in regard to the pandemic. Going through, the next update is regarding the Navy operationalizing the first batch of women pilots. And who are they? They are three most important pilots. They are Lieutenant Divya Sharma, Lieutenant Shivangi, and Lieutenant Shubhangi Swarup. These are the three first batch of the women pilots of Indian Navy, and they were the part of the 6 pilots of the 27th Dornier Operational Flying Training Course. They have graduated as fully operational maritime reconnaissance pilots. Okay, so they are fully operational maritime reconnaissance pilots. They have been completed their completion ceremony on 22nd of October, the same date, at INS Garuda at Kochi. Okay, so INS Garuda is an aircraft training, the Air Force flying training establishment of the Indian Navy. So there they have been accomplished to be completed their particular training as maritime reconnaissance pilots. So these were awarded their wings, and this was the first batch of the women pilots of Indian Navy. They have been operationalized on what aircraft? They have been operationalized on Dornier aircraft by the Southern Naval Command Kochi. If we go through the places to which these three famous personnel they belong, Lieutenant Divya Sharma, she is from Malaviya Nagar in New Delhi. Lieutenant Shubhangi Swarup is from Tilhar, and Lieutenant Shivangi is from Muzaffarpur in Bihar. Rear Admiral Anthony George was the chief guest to this particular training course, and he presented the awards to the pilots. Going through the next update, and the final one in this particular section is regarding ITBP deputing its first commanding officer to head its Eastern Command along line of actual control. In the last month, in the month of September, we were discussing about how the Indo-Tibetan Border Police has started its complete new command at Guwahati, ITBP's new command at Guwahati, which has been secured all the areas that are being posted in the states like Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Assam. Along all of these areas, we have had a new important command that has been established, and to this particular command, we have got a new commander, and he is Additional Director General Amrit Mohan Prasad, ADG Amrit Mohan Prasad. He has been posted previously at ITBP headquarters. He has been transferred and it has been posted as the ADG of the Eastern Command at Guwahati. So he will be looking after the frontiers at Itanagar, Lucknow and sector offices at Likabali, Tezpur, Dibrugarh, Gangtok among others. The command will also supervise ITBP battalions deployed for the anti-Naxal operations in the Chhattisgarh. That is it regarding this particular section of the complete important Indian defense related inputs and the reviews. Now let us go through with the next and the fourth most important section, and the fourth section is a very special one. It is regarding the special inductions and the acquisitions, the special news that we have to consider for this particular month. And in the month of October, we got our first and foremost important one, and that is INS Kavaratti. INS Kavaratti is the last of the 4 indigenously built anti-submarine warfare stealth corvettes. This is being done under Project 28 of the Kamorta class. So under the Project 28, under the Kamorta class, we got INS Kavaratti, an anti-submarine warfare corvette into Indian Navy. And when did we get it? Again on 22nd of October 2020. And who was the person who launched and who was the person who commissioned it into Indian Navy? It was the Army Chief, General Manoj Mukund Narwane, PVSM, AVSM, SM, VSM, ADC. He is the Chief of Army Staff. The Chief of Army Staff was the person who has commissioned this particular important anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette INS Kavaratti into Indian Navy. And where was it done? It was done at the Naval Dockyard of Visakhapatnam. To get in detail, this is touted as a potent stealth anti-submarine warfare corvette, and it is indigenously designed by Indian Navy's in-house organization, which is the Directorate of Naval Design, and also by the Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, GRSU of Kolkata. This is portraying the growing capability of Indian Navy to potentially completely build a very strategic, important class of destroyers and corvettes. If you go through in detail, this ship has 90% indigenous content, which is very, very appreciable part for us to consider. And it has used a lot of carbon composites for the superstructure, which is the first time it is considered to be a very, very commendable feat achieved in the Indian shipbuilding ones. INS Kavaratti, actually, she takes her name from the erstwhile INS Kavaratti, and the previous INS Kavaratti was an Arnala class missile corvette. So this is now considered to be a very important one. This comes under the Kamorta class anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette. Okay, so the older Kavaratti was distinguished herself by operating in the support of operations under the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. Going through the next update regarding this particular section is regarding India gifting a submarine to Myanmar. This is a 3000 diesel electric INS Sindhuvir. We gifted INS Sindhuvir to Myanmar and they renamed it as UMS Minye Tainkattu. Minye Tainkattu is a very famous person who has been responsible as a very historic person in the Myanmar's history. So they named this particular submarine as UMS Minye Tainkattu. And this submarine is considered to be the Myanmar's first submarine, and we feel it very, very proud and elated that India was the country that provided Myanmar its first submarine. And what did we give it? We give it the INS Sindhuvir. INS Sindhuvir is 3000 diesel electric submarine, and this submarine was showcased during Myanmar Navy's Bandula fleet exercise. Okay, so on October 15th, under the Bandula fleet exercise, this particular submarine was showcased under the Myanmar Navy patrol drills, and it was on the same day External Affairs Ministry of our country have announced that the submarine was gifted to Myanmar. Now, why do we consider it to be very, very important one? This is considered to be a very important one. The submarine, the first supplied by India to any country, is a part of an effort by New Delhi to step up its defense engagement with Myanmar as it tries to contain China's looming presence in a country that is a gateway to the Bay of Bengal, and it is a strategic waterway located in the northeastern part of the Indian Ocean. India and Myanmar share a 725 kilometer maritime boundary in the Bay of Bengal. India's decision to give an underwater vessel to its eastern neighbor comes 4 years after Bangladesh, which shares a border with both India and Myanmar, acquired 2 submarines from China. Beijing is also helping Bangladesh build a submarine base, funding the development of its Chittagong port and developing a deep sea port in Kyopu in Myanmar on Bay of Bengal. Analysts say that for New Delhi, these projects represent yet another bid by China to expand its naval presence in the countries that ring India, prompting it to strengthen its own partnerships in the region. Myanmar wants to reduce its military and economic dependence on Beijing, but in order to do that, they have pointed out that they need options, and India has clearly given up its options. That is it regarding this important section. Now let us go through with the next section, and this section is a very interesting one. In a very short one, we have to remember we are discussing about the anniversaries, and under the anniversaries, the first anniversary is regarding the 8th of October. Our love and our passion, the Indian Air Force Day was celebrated on 8th of October 2020. So it was the 88th Indian Air Force Day. On this particular day, a scintillating air display by various aircraft were the hallmarks of the parade, and this parade cum investiture ceremony was done at Air Force Station Hindon this particular time, and rehearsals for the air display, they actually started from 1st of October. So they started their rehearsals from 1st of October, and all the way through 8th of October they were successful in presenting and giving a very important show. Gallantry medals were awarded to IAF's 3 air warriors who even participated in the Balakot operation last year, with the IAF's frontline warplanes including Rafale, Su-30 MKI, Apache, Tejas, also known the Gujarat, which is also showcased with lethal firepower. The general area over which the aircraft flew at low levels are Wazipur Bridge, Karwal Nagar, Afzalpur, Hindon, Shamli, Jiwana, Chandinagar, Hindon. Then comes the Hapur, Filkua, Ghaziabad. Indian Air Force is also known as the Bharatiya Vayu Sena. It is the air arm of the Indian Armed Forces, and on 8th of October, it celebrates its Indian Air Force Day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi have also congratulated all the brave warriors of the Indian Air Force on the Air Force Day. Coming through, the next anniversary is regarding the Raising Day, the 71st of the Raising Day of the Territorial Army, and this is conducted on 9th of October 2020. On this particular day, after early morning time, at the time of around 9 o'clock like that, Prime Minister has arrived for the annual Army Day parade that takes place on 9th of October. Modern Territorial Army was actually inaugurated by the first Indian Governor General of India, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari ji, on 9th of October 1949, after the independence of the Territorial Army Act was passed in 1948. Territorial Army is considered to be a very important one for us to understand and remember. Going through the next important anniversaries regarding the 59th Raising Day of Indo-Tibetan Border Police, the Himveers of our country, and this ITBP Raising Day is conducted on 24th of October 2020. ITBP is India's primary border patrol organization with its border with Tibet, and it is one of the 7 Central Armed Police Forces of India. Mention in the comment section what are the 7 Central Armed Police Forces of India and when were they raised actually, and do mention also in the comment section, is it only ITBP that was raised on 24th of October 2020? And this was raised under the CRPF Act in the wake of the Sino-Indian War of 1962. They carry their nickname as Himveers, and ITBP carries its motto as Shaurya, Dridhata, Karmanishtha, which can be translated to English as valor, steadfastness and commitment. The ITBP DG is currently IPS Surjit Singh Deswal, and ITBP is considered to be a very strategic force that is guarding around 6,000 kilometer border with India and China. Going through the next important one is regarding the 74th Indian Army Infantry Day. Indian Army's Infantry Day is conducted every year on 27th of October. Why do we conduct it only on 27th of October? This is the first time that in the year of 1947, on 27th of October, the Indian Army's troops have stepped inside the Jammu and Kashmir. And what were they? The first Sikh Infantry Battalion. They have landed at Srinagar airfield, and they have fought a courageous battle with regular and irregular Pakistani troops, and they have liberated the Kashmir Valley from the intruders. Remembering this important and historic one, and in driving the Pakistani to nuts, this particular day is celebrated as Indian Army's Infantry Day, and this day is celebrated to give the infantry soldiers the real warriors, and they are one of the most important strongholds of the Indian Army. The Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Narawane have also paid tributes at the National War Memorial on the Infantry Day. That is it regarding this particular section. Now we will go through the next section, and that is about the section F, the special section of the missile tests. Continuing with the complete important missile tests that were conducted on October of 2020. In this particular one, we have to remember that there were around 7 most important tests that were conducted. On 3rd of October 2020, a nuclear capable Shaurya missile was conducted. This particular missile was a land-based version of the submarine launched ballistic missile Sagarika. Okay, SLBM Sagarika or K-15. So it was a land-based version of this particular naval missile. And it's a very important one. It's a nuclear capable missile, and this particular missile has a range of around 800 kilometers. It was tested at integrated test range at Balasore in Odisha. And when was it conducted? It was on 3rd of October 2020. 5 days later, on 5th of October 2020, DRDO has tested the supersonic missile assisted release of torpedo, the SMART system. This is a torpedo. So this particular torpedo was launched from a supersonic missile, and this is considered to be a very strategic feat. Only few countries in the world have this particular sort of system, and this was also launched from ITR in Odisha. Then after a few days later, on 9th of October 2020, we tested India's first indigenously built anti-radiation missile, and this anti-radiation missile is given to Indian Air Force. It is named as Rudram. Okay, Rudram is India's first indigenous anti-radiation missile, and it was successfully flight tested. It was launched from a Sukhoi 30 Mark 1 fighter jet. When was it done? It was done at the Wheeler Island off the coast of Odisha. Coming through the next important ones, it is regarding on 16th of October 2020, we had launched the indigenously developed nuclear capable Prithvi 2 missile. This has been launched in the night time. So it was considered to be a night type of sortie. It was done around 7:30 p.m. at night time, and it was done from Launch Complex 3 of Integrated Test Range of Balasore in Odisha. This missile has a This missile has a range of 350 kilometers. Then comes the next day on 17th of October 2020 along the Arabian Sea. That means not on the Odisha, it is completely on the opposite side. The naval version of BrahMos was launched. It was successfully test fired from INS Chennai. Why is this considered to be a very important one? This is because INS Chennai is completely built only by the Indian companies. It is indigenously built, and it is a stealth destroyer. So for the first time, we are testing a nuclear capable missile, naval version of the BrahMos missile from INS Chennai. This clearly indicates about how Indian Navy is capable, and it is increasing its capacity all along the way in the Arabian Sea and in the Indian Ocean region also. Going through the 19th of October 2020, we have launched the standoff anti-tank missile, the Sant missile, which is a Nag kind of missile. It was again launched at the Wheeler Island off the coast of Odisha. Then again on 22nd of October 2020, again the date comes for us. So it was the Nag anti-tank guided missile. It was launched with a warhead. This was done under the Pokhran field firing ranges in Rajasthan. All of these 7 are considered to be most important missile inputs. In the month of October 2020, we had 7 important missile tests, and they are these. That is it regarding the sections F of the missile test. Now we'll have the final section of the monthly defense updates, and that is about the future plans. The section G, the future plans. Coming to the future plans, in this particular section, we will be discussing about those important updates where we were talking about what all things are coming into the way in the coming up days. So we will discuss here about what are the kind of news that we can expect in the coming up defense updates. So the first and foremost one that we have to consider here is regarding that Indian Navy is going to get the 5th Scorpene class submarine from Mazagon Dock Limited in the next 6 months. And what is that particular submarine? It is INS Wagir. Okay, so there were around 6 important submarines. Okay, so the Scorpene class submarines, they were around 6. So from around 6, 3 are already there with the Indian Navy. The 4th one will be coming in the next 6 months, like that. So Mazagon Dock Limited is working with French collaborator Naval Group, and it is working with the transfer of technologies, and this is being considered under Project 75 with the deal valued at over 23,000 crore. Okay, so please remember Project 75 is different. Also mention in the comment section what is that particular project number with which the INS Kavaratti is considered. Okay, so both the numbers you have to remember. So under project 75 this was considered, and what is that particular one we are going to expect? It is INS Vagir. What were the previous three ones? In the year of 2017 we got INS Khanderi, in the year of 2018 we got INS Karanj, and in the year of 2019 we got INS Vela. INS Khanderi we got, INS Karanj we got, INS Vela we got, and what are we getting now? We are also going to get the next important one. We are going to get INS Vagir. Okay, so it is INS Vagir that we are going to get now. And due to the COVID-19 disruption, the company suffered a setback about 3 months, but after that it again came back to its work, and it is expected to complete its deliveries by 2022, with INS Vakshir to be expected to be launched by 2022. Okay, so what are all of these? The first one is INS Kalvari. INS Kalvari was done, it was launched in the year of 2017. After INS Kalvari, then comes INS Khanderi, then comes INS Karanj, then comes INS Vela, then comes what? INS Vagir. INS Vagir is the fifth one, and the sixth one is INS Vakshir. Okay, INS Vakshir we might expect in the year of 2022, but in the next 6 months we are getting INS Vagir. Going through the next update is regarding about the next 3 Rafale fighters arriving to our country by November of 5th. This is going to give a very big boost to Indian Air Force. 5 Rafale jets have already arrived to our country. They have arrived on July of 29th, and they were inducted. Their induction ceremony was done on 10th of September 2020. We also have given you a particular video about how Sarvadharma Puja has been conducted, about how the important things were done, what are the technical specifications, what are the specialities of this squadron wherein which this important aircraft is being inducted. A special video is already being done about complete weapons of the Dassault Rafale. So if in case you are interested, you can also go back, watch those videos and keep yourself updated for the coming up ones. Those who are preparing for SSB interviews, for them also this is considered to be a very, very important update. Around, as of now, 7 Rafale fighters are already there in the France, and all of these 7 Rafale fighter pilots, 7 Rafale fighters, they are being used for the IAF fighter pilot training. Okay, all of them are used for training, and other 5 are there in India. Another 3 are coming to India by November of 5th. That is the update that I want to give you. Okay, so going to the next update is regarding about the Supreme Court giving time to the Center for granting permanent commission to women officers in Indian Navy. It was on March of 17 that the Supreme Court had given a landmark judgment and had stated that all the officers, let it be Army, Navy or Air Force, everybody has to be provided and they have to be given equal opportunities irrespective of their gender, creed, discrimination. Indian armed forces have never discriminated on the basis of their caste, on the basis of their religion or whatever case it might be. But the gender was considered to be a very, very important part. The main reason is because of the medical characteristics and the aspects were taken into consideration. But the Supreme Court has given a clear statement that both females and males must be provided the same sort of opportunities. If in case you're giving them the same sort of jobs, then you have to understand you have to increase the percentage of the females in all the 3 forces. If you go through, there were only around 0.4% of the personnel in Indian Army are the females, and very less number are there in Indian Air Force, and again very, very less are there in Indian Navy. So we have to consider it. So regarding that particular one, as of now, there are 5 important short service commissioned women officers in the Indian Navy as of now, and these 5 women officers will be granted a lump sum amount of money, and they will be granted a permanent commission by the Supreme Court, also by the Ministry of Defence. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Defence, it has to provide the complete details by the next 3 months. That means all the way up to March, April, May, June. By the way up to the June, the Defence Ministry has to provide the details of providing the permanent commission to the women officers in the Indian Navy. But it was not able to do so. The main reason is because of the complete nationwide lockdown and the COVID-19 measures and the characteristics that are being posed as a threat to the Indian security and also to the health status of the citizens of our country. So the bench of justices, which include Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice Indu Malhotra and Justice Indira Banerjee, all of them have said that they are going to extend the completion process of this particular landmark judgment, and they are going to give a time all the way up to December of 31st for the grant of permanent commission to the SSC officers in the Indian Navy. The battle for gender equality is about confronting the battles of the mind, and the history is replete with examples where women have been denied their just entitlements under law and the right to fair and equal treatment in the workplace, as said by the top court. 101 excuses are no answer to the constitutional entitlement to dignity, which attaches to every individual, irrespective of gender, to fair and equal conditions of work and to a level playing field. It has also said that the center's contention that certain sea-going duties are ill-suited to women officers is premised on sex stereotypes, that male officers are more suited to certain duties by virtue of the physiological characteristics, and to accept it would be to approve the socially ascribed gender roles which a commitment to equal worth and dignity of every individual belies. It also mentioned that it has also quashed the prospective effect of the center's controversial September 2008 policy. This is being considered to be a very, very important one. It has also termed the important ones as illusionary and without any foundation. The argument that in vessels of a Russian origin which are deployed by the Indian Navy, no provision has been made for women as sailors and there are no bathrooms to accommodate them. So this is regarding the most important ones, and that is it regarding all the 7 important sections, and I hope that all of these important news of the complete monthly defense updates are very, very helpful for your preparation. Now, as in every defense updates, I am covering about important questions. In this particular section also, we will have some important review questions. We will go through some important questions one after the other, and in the end, we will completely wipe out the session. As in every particular session, I will be discussing about the review questions. In this particular session also, we will be going through some of the most important questions, and I hope that this particular session will be very, very helpful for your defense exams preparation. Beginning with the first and foremost question is regarding this one. It is about anti-tank guided missile. The indigenously developed laser guided anti-tank guided missile, or ATGM, was successfully test fired on 1st of October 2020, defeating a target located at a longer range. The test was conducted from which battle tank? It was conducted from the battle tank of Arjun. Okay, so it was the battle tank of Arjun. This is what you have to remember. Going through the next important question is, the Bongo Sagar exercise was followed by the 3rd edition of Indian Navy Bangladesh Navy coordinated patrol in northern Bay of Bengal. From what particular date to what date? It is conducted from the 4th to 5th of October 2020. Bongo Sagar began on 3rd of October, then comes on the next 2 days on 4th and 5th of October. The coordinated patrol was conducted between both the navies. Going through the next question is, which among these ships of Bangladesh have recently participated in Bongo Sagar exercise? They were BNS Abu Bakr. Okay, one was BNS Abu Bakr and another one was BNS Protoy. Okay, BNS Abu Bakr and BNS Protoy. Remember, these two are the important Bangladeshi ships that were participated in the Bongo Sagar exercise. The next question is, on 3rd of October 2020, India successfully test fired a new version of nuclear capable which missile off the coast of Odisha, which can strike targets at around 800 kilometers. It was the nuclear capable Shaurya missile. The next question is, when did Territorial Army celebrate its 71st Raising Day? Territorial Army's 71st Raising Day is celebrated on 9th of October 2020. The next question is, a new generation anti-radiation missile was successfully flight tested on 9th of October 2020 onto a radiation target located on Wheeler Island. This particular missile is named as what? India's first anti-radiation missile. It is named as Rudram. The next question is, which among the following is not correct regarding the Scorpion class submarines of India? The first option says that they are diesel electric attack submarines. The second option says that INS Vela, INS Vakshir, INS Kalvari are some of them. And the third option says that INS Vakshir is not yet commissioned, and the fourth option says that INS Kalvari was commissioned in 2013. So the correct answer here is option D, INS Kalvari. It was not commissioned in the year of 2013. It was commissioned in the year of 2017. Coming towards these ones, they were the Scorpion class submarines. They were 6 submarines. One include INS Kalvari, INS Vela, INS Vakshir. All of these are some of them, and INS Vega is going to be commissioned in the next 6 months, and INS Vakshir is not yet commissioned. It will get commissioned by the year of 2022 as per the defense inputs. Going through the next question is, INS Kavaratti was commissioned under what particular project? INS Kavaratti was commissioned under Project 28. Okay, it was Project 28, wherein which INS Kavaratti was commissioned. And now coming to INS Kavaratti, it comes under which particular class of warships of Indian Navy? Is it Alhari, it is Arihant or Kalvari or Kamorta or Vela? It comes under the Kamorta class of warships of Indian Navy. INS Kavaratti is a stealth corvette. Going through the next question is INS Kavaratti is commissioned into the Indian Navy on what date? It was commissioned on 22nd of October 2020. The next question is the START Pact is between which two global nations? The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. It is between both USA and USSR. The next question is the first batch of women pilots of Indian Navy have been operationalized on which aircraft by the Southern Naval Command at Kochi? They have been operationalized as the Dornier aircraft, and they were appointed into the Indian Navy. They were given a complete licenses of a fully operational maritime reconnaissance pilots. The next question is India gifted which submarine to Myanmar on October of 15th? We gifted INS Sindhuveer. Remember, it is INS Sindhuveer that we have gifted to Myanmar on October of 15th, and they have renamed it as UMS Menye Tainkattu. Okay, so which African nation plans to sign Defense Memorandum of Understanding with India riding on emerging strategic partnership during the 3rd India-Africa Forum Summit? It is the country of Morocco. We have discussed in the first section itself. The next question is this year's Army Commanders Conference is scheduled from what date to what date? It is scheduled from 26th to 29th of October 2020. Which among these deals was signed in 2016 by India with the United States? We have signed the Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement in the year of 2016. The General Security of Military Information Agreement, GSOMIA, it was signed in the year of 2002. Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement, COMCASA, was signed in the year of 2016. And in this particular year, in 2020, in the month of October, in this month, last month, we have signed the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement for Geospatial Cooperation between both the countries of India and United States of America. The next question is recently conducted India United Arab Emirates webinar was organized by which department of Ministry of Defense along with the Society of Indian Defense Manufacturers? It was the Department of Defense Production. The DDP was that particular department that was under the organizing of the webinar of the India UAE. Vigilance Awareness Week is observed every year by the Central Vigilance Commission during the week in which whose birth anniversary falls. It is observed on the birth anniversaries of the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. It was on October of 31st that India celebrates the National Unity Day. It is the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and in whichever particular week that this particular day comes, on that particular week, we completely celebrate the Vigilance Awareness Week. Going through the next question is Infrastructure Management System Software IMS. It was inaugurated by whom? It was inaugurated by the Chief of Army Staff, General Manoj Mukund Naravani. And this was done under what? It was done under the Army Commanders Conference in the date of the 28th of October 2020. Going through the next question is who developed the secure application for internet? This is one of the other important video calling, texting, messaging app for the Indian Army's officers. And this particular app, the secure application, and it was given a OK signal from the Army Cyber Security Division, and it was developed by the Colonel Sai Shankar. And I feel very happy that on that particular day wherein which this particular question was covered, you even mentioned about who was Major Anup Mishra, who was Lieutenant General R.K. Jagga, and who was Major General Sunir Chandra. Those who are following these defense updates on a daily basis and who are giving their inputs, responses in the form of comment section, your inputs and your interest for the examination and qualifying the exam, it will not going to wane, and I hope that you qualify the exams. Going through the next question is for the year of 2019 to 20, which army squadron has deployed in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir? It has been awarded the Chief of Army Staff Annual Flight Safety Trophy. It is the squadron of number 663 Army Aviation Squadron. Going through the next question is recently Cochin Shipyard has signed a deal for business development with which particular shipyard? Is it Fincantieri Shipyard of Italy, or is it Abiking and Ramushin of Germany, or Almaz Shipbuilding Company, or Alabama Dry Dock of USA? The correct answer for this is option A, Fincantieri Shipyard of Italy. That is it regarding the most important review questions of the monthly defense current affairs of the month of October 2020. And I hope that all of these questions were very, very helpful to you. Now let us have the question of the day. And the question of the day for today is, what is India's first private aerospace company to test fire first of its kind upper stage rocket engine? I repeat the question. What is India's first private aerospace company to test fire the first of its kind upper stage rocket engine? The answer for this and the complete technicalities and the details regarding this particular question I will be giving you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, subscribe to this channel, and I hope that you are preparing for all of the examinations in a very detailed and in a proper way. If in case you are following up for this particular important monthly current affairs session for the first time, or in case if you are a first time viewer of the SSB Crack Exams channel, then I hope that you do subscribe to this channel and you also to download the Android app from Google Play Store. Always stay tuned with us, go through all the important ones and follow us on all sort of social media platforms. I hope that your preparation for examinations will be very, very fruitful. Wishing you all the very best. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.